following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
This is the Players Lounge, broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star.
Hi, everybody. Newy Scruggs here, longtime Cowboys reporter, joined by former Dallas Cowboys Jesse Holley and Everson Walls. We got 45 minutes to break down and get into a whole bunch of Dallas Cowboys topics with you. Everson, how we doing today, my man?
I'm doing well, man. We can go 1 hour. I'm good. You know, I don't get any overtime, but still, I can go 1 hour today. This is our last show of the week, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I just want to be like Jesse Holley. Jesse Holley is a morning guy. You ever see him post on Twitter all the time?
Oh,
Good morning,
my
world.
God. I see him on Twitter every morning waving his T-shirt.
Listen, as the youngest person on this podcast, I should not be the one who is the happiest about seeing the next day. I'm the youngest one here. I'm just saying, Everson, you and Newy, you guys, you know what I'm saying?
We should be all age card. He pulled the age card on us.
We should be all excited about seeing the next day. I should not be the excited person about seeing the lights of the sun. If I was doing
all of that stuff that you did, I'd be tired right now. I'd be taking a nap if I was that excited every morning like you.
I love it, man. I am a morning person.
Jesse, it's interesting you say that. And here we are on Veterans Day, and we salute all of our veterans out there, especially
Happy
my father who
Veterans
served in the Army.
To all our veterans.
I was born in Germany, and here's where my disdain, you could say, for getting up in the morning was, look, when we lived on base, you could hear the soldiers running in the morning. And my dad obviously had to get up and do the PT. And there was one commercial that they used to air when I was a kid when they were promoting the Army. And it said, we do more things before 9 a.m. than most people do all day.
That's right.
And I used to say to myself, yeah, my goal was not to get up before 9 a.m. That was my goal. Once I got out of my dad's house, man, it's like, I didn't take any classes in college before 9 a.m. That was me. I wasn't doing anything. I was trying to, 9:30 was about the earliest I tried to get a class. 9:30, 10 o'clock. So,
Jesse knows we had no choice, right?
Choice.
2 a days, 3 a days. You know, morning till night. So as much as I could make that vow to myself, I couldn't uphold it. If you recall, Eddie Robinson's going through at Grambling State, Eddie Robinson's going through the hallway clinging a cowbell for you to get up for breakfast. So no, I was not, my life wasn't my own, okay? So I would love to say that. But I do want to say, I have a brother-in-law who served. His son, my nephew, was in the Air Force for years. So yeah, definitely happy Veterans Day to these guys and anyone else with families that served in the military and are still serving. I want to thank you so much for your service.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
yes, indeed. We definitely have a massive amount of respect for those who've made the ultimate sacrifice and those who continue to sign up for the military and go out there and represent the United States of America and protect our freedoms and allow us to be able to do this show right here that we do. So as a guy who's born on the military base, my parents still live in Fayetteville, North Carolina, which is where Fort Bragg is. Fort Bragg is in our backyard. So I am one of those that has a special affinity for our soldiers. All right, so Jesse, this was something that I hit you and Everson up on earlier today, and Jacques Taylor wrote a column in the Dallas Morning News. Jacques, longtime columnist for, let's just say a longtime beat writer. And Jacques also works with me on NBC5. And he wrote a column today, and he said that the Cowboys are in disarray, and it's up to Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones to recognize what's going on. I'm going to bring up a couple points that was made here. He says, 1 year ago today, Dallas lost to Minnesota 28-24. Since then, Dallas is 5-11. After starting 2019 3-0, the Cowboys have lost 15 of 22 games. So, I'll start with you, Jesse, and then going over to you, Everson Walls. Are the Cowboys in disarray in your opinion?
Yes, and they've been that way for about 25 years, Newy. No, seriously, they have been this Cowboys team, and nobody. And we spoke briefly on it yesterday. Nobody sells hope better than the Jones family. They can sell you hope. They can sell water to a well. They can sell underwears to strippers. They can get it done. And so they should do like master classes in selling hope to people, because year in and year out, they find small little things to get these fans and people excited about the Cowboy season. And yet none of it has produced anything long standing, or that, no deep playoff runs, no NFC East championship games, no Super Bowl appearances. And yet they're still the recognizable franchise and the most expensive franchise in all of sports. But when you look at where we are today, and we say it every single year, well, on paper, this roster looks to be tremendous. On paper, this roster can go a long way. On paper, we can really do something in the NFC East and in the NFL as a whole. But year in and year out, it goes from but on paper to we've come up short again. And I think people are starting, and maybe it's just a culture thing, because I think the whole entire world is just tired of so much stuff that's been happening, and just over time, people are kind of getting tired of hearing that same old sell us hope, sell us a dream, tell us it's going to be okay, the roses, the flowers, and the meadows, and all that kind of stuff. No, we want to see production now. Now we want to see things really come into play, and it be something that we can truly cheer about deep into the playoffs and possibly a Super Bowl.
Everson.
Yeah, he's right. That's what we talked about yesterday. Jesse's correct. And here's the dilemma that you have. You're looking at this from two different lenses. I mean, we as the public, as fans and former players, Jesse, we know what it's all about. We understand that things can look great on paper, and if you don't have the coaching staff or the game plan to put it together, I don't care what kind of players you have, you're going to fail. We can look at the LA Clippers and take a look at that ball club, and it pretty much dictated what a talented team can look like with no direction. Either you have to have it from leadership on the field, or you have to have it from the locker room itself, meaning the coaches, or upper management from the owners and the staff that creates a culture. And the dilemma that you have is you're looking at an owner who is the most successful sports franchise owner in history. So when he explains what's going on to the public, he can't help but be rosy, right? It's always rosy for him. Regardless of how many games they lose, regardless of the pandemic. Yes, I know he lost a lot of money with the Star and all of the ancillary income that goes with having the Star, all the real estate deals. That's a whole nother story. I took business in school, so I know exactly how much money he's losing in that regard. But when it comes to the pride of the Dallas Cowboys, he has nothing to hang his head about. And he never will. He can be upset at the players all he wants. But when it's all said and done, it's hard. If I'm Jerry Jones, I'm going to be upset about the players, but I'm going to say, I still have, as Jesse said, the most expensive, most popular, highest rated sports franchise in the world. So when you start looking at who's going to be disappointed and where's my priority as an owner, yes, he wants to win. You don't even try to doubt the fact that he wants to win. But how can you go about running a team that you think is going to be successful just the way you ran the business that is uber successful? There's a difference between running a football team and running a business. When you run a football team, you got so many egos involved. You've got just so many personalities that you have to deal with up and down the line. It's different from business. You've got players. Go ahead, Jesse. I'd like to hear you step in on that.
I just I want to challenge one point of yours. And the point I want to challenge of yours is, do we really know if Jerry wants to win? And I say that only because...
You mean from this year or just throughout the 25 years that you were talking about?
I'm going to talk... we can use the last 25 years.
Okay.
And the only reason I challenge you on that is because when you see a pattern as a business person that isn't conducive to you having success, what do? You change it. And you put it in a situation where you're now being successful. One of the most common things that has been in the last 25 years of this team not having success, players, yes, are involved. Coaches, yes, are involved. But him sitting in that general manager seat, some will say that is a large part of the reason why this team isn't being constructed and put together the proper way to go out there and to win games on football. And so if you were caring about winning, and that was the ultimate care of yours, is it not enough for you to remove yourself from a situation? At least try it. At least try it. To remove yourself from a situation, allow someone else to come in and to sit in that role and have that role, and see if that then can produce success for your business. That is the one thing that I would challenge you on that.
That he has tried that. And I think this year is kind of indicative, or maybe even the past few years, where he's kind of let Steven step up. I think that's his idea of, handing the baton off, so to speak, to someone else. Of course, he still wants to be the figurehead. When he became GM,
he'll tell you at every single turn, yes, Will McClay has to say so. Yes, Stephen Jones had to say so. Oh, but at the end of the day, it all runs through me. I'm the last signature on everything that goes in and out this door. I'm the last signature on it.
Jesse, that is probably maybe misguided leadership on his part. But when it comes to intent, his intent is to win. His idea of himself, I'm sure, as GM is, I am Jerry Jones. I built my business. I built this team. Even when I let Jimmy Johnson go, I still won a Super Bowl. I have been able to run this team. Even while we're losing, we're still winning, so to speak. Even while we're losing as a team, we're winning as a franchise. His being a GM has nothing to do with wanting to win as much as competence. You understand?
Yes.
He wants to win. He just doesn't know how to do it necessarily as GM. It's something that over these years or decades or however long he's been GM, he hadn't been able to figure it out. That's that's what's sticking in his craw right now. So he has no choice but to kind of, let the reins go and give it to Steven. But once again, once that ego steps in, Jesse and Newy, once that ego steps in, he's got to realize that that's going to be, that is the main problem with the Dallas Cowboys. His ego running the team or a competent GM running the team. He wants to win. He just doesn't know how to do it consistently as a GM.
I agree.
All right, let's take a break here. When we come back, Jesse, based on what you said, I'm going to tell you what Jerry Jones has told me in the past, because I've asked some of these similar questions to him back when I used to do the Jerry Jones show. So I'll give you that on the flip side. This is the Players Lounge, brought to you by Hotels.com on DallasCowboys.com radio.
Hey there, Cowboys fans. With Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery, Cleaning your clothes has never been more convenient. Simply sign up at your local store, set out your dirty clothes, and one of our Tide Cleaners professionals will come directly to your home for a totally contactless experience. Your clean garments will be returned promptly the next scheduled delivery day, so skip the errand and enjoy life, not laundry. Visit TideCleaners.com or your local store to sign up for Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery today.
Just like all of you, we at SeatGeek can't wait until we're back in the stands at full strength cheering on the Cowboys and singing along to our favorite songs again. We're using this time to make discovering, buying, and selling tickets to events in Dallas easier. Plus, every ticket purchased on SeatGeek is protected by our buyer guarantee, which means you'll get your money back or better if your event is canceled. Guaranteed. Download the SeatGeek app today, and when the time is right, let's go. SeatGeek.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way. Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
We're back with a tasty treat that's sweeping airwaves and taste buds. It's new Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda. Let's take a listen.
Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda's here. A new combo that's music to my ears, okay. Let's play. Cream Soda and Dr. Pepper time. Pour it in a glass of ice.
Ah, music to my ears and mouth. New Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda.
A delicious duet.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Unified welterweight world champion Errol the Truth Spence Jr. will duel two-time division world champion Danny Swift Garcia in a blockbuster main event on Saturday, December 5th. At AT&T Stadium. Get your tickets now before they sell out at SeatGeek.com. Back in the Players Lounge brought to you by Hotels.com. We are in our SWBC Mortgage Virtual Home Studios. I'm Newy Scruggs. Former Dallas Cowboys players Jesse Holley and Everson Walls join me. Now, Jesse, you spoke about that Jerry doesn't want to win. And I will tell you unequivocally, Jerry Jones wants to win. Okay, I got to start covering this team back when they had won their first Super Bowl. So as after their first Super Bowl win, I got to start covering this team. Jerry wants to win. Jerry Jones, and I talked about it yesterday, is very much like George Steinbrenner. George Steinbrenner never changed the way he went about running the New York Yankees. When they won the World Series in 77 and 78, and then after that, they didn't win anything until the 90s. And when the Yankees got good again, was actually when Gene Michael took over the franchise because George Steinbrenner had got suspended by Major League Baseball. But George was always the guy who was out there writing the largest checks and going about things in free agency. Once Jimmy Johnson left, so many people like Randy Galloway, who Everson, you know very well, longtime columnist, wrote that,
we used to have a radio show together, yes.
Randy was one of the main people saying, Jimmy built this. This was all Jimmy. And that bugged Jerry and bugs him to this day.
Yes, it did.
That it was all, and he's like, no, I was there with Jimmy. I hired Jimmy. He wants his credit. Okay, there's no doubt about it. He wants his credit, and he'll be the first to tell you.
That was pre-Jesse Holley days. Pre-Jesse Holley days.
And when I was
long time.
When I was doing the radio show, he would tell you, you can't question my want to win. He's like, look at the kind of contracts I've signed here. Look at what I've done. Look at what I've put into my franchise. I mean, Jerry Jones is in the Hall of Fame because he went out there and taught other NFL owners how to make money. But Jerry's always been the guy who's been willing to pay. Agents will tell you how much they love Jerry Jones because he's always willing to pay. So he wants to win. The issue, Jesse, with Jerry is truly this. His ego of wanting to win and wanting to make sure he gets all the credit. His mentor when he got in the National Football League is Al Davis. Until Al Davis died, Al Davis ran the Raiders his own way. Other people tried, Al, you should do this, you should do that. No, Al did it his way. And Jerry's going to do it his way. Now, along the way, he has made some concessions. Johnny Manziel is one of the biggest concessions things that I've ever seen come out of Jerry Jones, because I was sure they were going to draft that kid out of Texas A&M. Jerry absolutely loved Johnny Manziel. And I remember when they had the Cotton Bowl game between Texas A&M and Oklahoma at Jerry World, man, they were selling upper level seats for $500. That's how much people wanted to go see Johnny football. And there it is right there for him, the ability to take Johnny football. And it's Stephen Jones and Will McClay who were right there saying, no, that's not the guy. We need to take Zach Martin. And so they take Zach Martin, and even as we get to training camp at Oxnard, California, Jerry's still moaning and groaning about how they didn't take the risk and should have taken Johnny football. I mean, but that's him. So he's changed a little bit, but Jesse, he does want to win. Will his ego allow him to step back? He'll tell you no. He says, if I hire a general manager, they still got to come through me. He says, he told me one time he owned, was like 70 businesses. He says, I make decisions on every single one of them. So this is just how he operates, Jesse. But he does want to win, but he wants to win his way.
Yeah, he wants to win at his way, at his cost. And I think sometimes that can be a detriment to the team. I think questioning, does he want to win? And again, when you have 100-foot yacht and you have planes and helicopters and 24-karat gold silverware,
and you're already Hall of Fame, Jesse.
So you're in the Hall of Fame. I mean, you're winning. You're already winning. So I get it. I get from a standpoint where I'm looking from. I just think about, let's say, if there's anything, because I think this is his baby. Right, the Cowboys is his baby. He has a $2 billion energy company. He has $1 billion real estate, and he has oil and gas. I mean, he has Titan type stuff that he owns, and the cash flow is always coming. But this is his baby. This is his pride and joy of all of his jewels. This is the one that sits at the top. This is the one that takes his heart. It's like your baby girl. You can have all these kids, but you got that baby girl, and she's just the apple of your eye. And you want everything in the world to work and go in her favor. But sometimes, as you can cripple her as a dad because you spoil her and you coddle her and you kind of wrap this thing around her and doesn't expose her to the world. And then when you're gone, and she's like, oh my God. But that's the thing with Jerry. This is his baby, and he was so close to it. I think it's I wish that he would see it to the point where, you know what? Let me just be an owner. Because he's still going to get the credit. Like, you're still Jerry Jones.
He's not going to be Bob Kraft. He will never be Bob Kraft. Bob Kraft wanted to be like Jerry Jones when he first got involved in the New England Patriots. He was dealing with Parcells. He got smacked around and figured out, I don't want to deal with the media. I don't want to be that guy. And he let Belichick run it. But that's not ever going to be Jerry Jones. Okay?
And see, that's the difference, Newy. You start talking about he's no Bob Kraft. Then you're talking about he's buddies with Steinbrenner. That's his mentor. Steinbrenner, as much as he and Billy Martin did not get along, they cursed each other out almost every day, in public, in private, didn't really matter. But when it was all said and done, for a long time, Billy Martin was sitting right there in that dugout winning championships.
Billy
winning the World Series.
He won one,
and
he fired him 3 times. As soon as
he gets into it with Jimmy, he lets his ego take over. And I'm wrapping it up in a messy little knot here, but over not accepting a drink. That was that's like a trigger. These kind of things you do not let interrupt a dynasty. Billy Martin was left alone because Steinbrenner realized that Billy Martin was helping him create a dynasty. Bob Kraft
that's not true.
Left Belichick
Billy Martin got fired. He fired Billy Martin. Billy Martin was hired and refired.
He finally fired Billy Martin after how long? It took him a while. It took him a while to fire Billy Martin. You have many World Series before he finally did that, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Billy only won
Sometimes you can't pull the trigger too fast. How many did Billy Martin win? You might know that, Newy, and I can't hardly hear you.
Billy won one.
He only won one?
For George Steinbrenner. Only won one. 1977.
Billy Martin only won one World Series.
For George Steinbrenner.
For George Steinbrenner. I stand corrected. I stand corrected. Because they argued all the time. And even though he finally fired him, they argued for a long time. They never got along from the minute he hired him. I'm mistaken in the number of World Series, but I know that he kept him around for a minute. And what it did was it allowed him to run the locker room. It allowed him to run the dugout. So you have to eventually go ahead.
So one reason why Billy Martin got fired by George Steinbrenner, despite them winning the pennant in 76 and 77, and they ended up finally winning the World Series in 77, he couldn't get along with Reggie Jackson. He absolutely hated Reggie Jackson. And so Steinbrenner chose Reggie over Billy Martin. Dude, when I tell you George Steinbrenner and Jerry are the same dudes, that's why they're friends. They're the same guys. And he brought Billy back twice and didn't win anything with Billy.
Let me come at it from this angle. Okay, you fire your guy, but then when you start touting players that you think are going to be players, and you think you can analyze talent better than anyone else on the Cowboys squad, that's how you end up almost signing Johnny Manziel. You want the glitz and glamour. Bob Kraft, all he wanted was Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. And so if you want to be like someone, let me graduate from Billy Martin and Steinbrenner to Bob Kraft and Bill Belichick. To me, that's what you do. If you get a coach like that, well, I'm not saying we had that coach, unless you go back to Jimmy Johnson. You let him run it. You let him run it. You let him run it the way he sees fit. Man, Jimmy probably still would have been coach around here. He still looks good on TV. But he got his hair combed all nice. He wears the best clothes you ever seen. He's the best dressed guy on TV. And this is coming from a guy who's not even a Jimmy Johnson fan. But you got to give him some love. This guy probably still would have been around here. He still would have been scaring the hell out of everybody if he could. But they would have gotten wins and they would have gotten results.
Look, Jimmy never stayed anywhere longer than 4 years. That's just been how Jimmy was, from Oklahoma State.
I bet Jimmy would have stayed here. I'll bet you Jimmy would have stayed here. Jimmy didn't want to go to Miami. He only went there because he was on his way to retirement.
But this is also, and I look at this between Jerry and Jimmy, and having been there and been around for that, to when I covered Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant. Sometimes this stuff happens in sports, that you've got people who are winning and you say, how come you can't get along and how come you can't make it work? Tim Duncan and Greg Popovich made it work. Tom Brady and Bill Belichick made it work. Shaq and Kobe could only make it go so far. And that was the same thing with Jimmy and Jerry. They could only take it so far because guys had their egos here. And I don't think Jimmy could have lasted much longer with Jerry. Just as Shaquille and Kobe could not have run any longer, because Kobe told Jerry Buss, I will not play with that fat mother blanker anymore. And that was one reason why they got traded. Okay, I was there for it.
I don't know if it's fair to start comparing people to Kobe, though. It's kind of tough comparing people to Kobe. To do what Kobe did after he got rid of Shaq, that was like better than Jordan-esque. So I think that might be the exception to the rule.
Now, until they got Pau Gasol, all right, Kobe was sitting up here as a 7 seed, and they were struggling, and Kobe asked to be traded and almost went to the Chicago Bulls. So this whole thing, hey, Kobe did all this without Shaq. Kobe hadn't won a ring without a big man, because you needed it with the way he played. He needed somebody in there in the center. And God rest Kobe's soul.
He didn't need much. He did not need much.
But you still needed that piece. He needed that piece. It was essential. And once somehow Jerry West gifted Pau Gasol from Memphis to them, then Phil Jackson and company got to go back to working it and winning championships again. But egos are a part of this. It's a part of sports. It's a part of business. It's a part of that Hollywood scene that I was working out there. This is it. And we've seen how good tandems can break apart. Look at the Beatles. I'm sitting around right now reading the John Lennon biography. How do you break up something as good as the Beatles? It gets broken up. This is life. This is life. And Jerry's sitting in the seat of, hey, I own it, so I get to do what I want, because owners don't get fired. But at the same time, I look at Daniel Snyder.
You have to look at one thing, Newy. They continue to win. Steinbrenner continued to win. Okay.
Now,
the Beatles,
but how did it,
as much as they weren't the Beatles anymore, those guys went solo. They continued to progress. They continue to sell records. They continue to have gold and platinum records. Cowboys aren't doing that. We haven't done that. We talk about Steinbrenner, and once again, I was mistaken, and thank you for that correction, but they were going to the pennant races. They were winning pennant races. At least they were winning pennant races. Jesse talked about going deep into the playoffs. At least Billy Martin was going deep into the playoffs. So now, and then they still continued after he got rid of Billy Martin. That's where the differences all stop. We have not been successful on the field since these moves have been made.
Okay, now Everson, I want to make sure you understand this too now. So after they fired Billy Martin, they won the World Championship in 1978. Then they went back to the World Series in 1981. And then after Reggie, he decided to sign Dave Winfield. And from that time, from the 80s until 1996, they didn't get back to the World Series. And the reason they got back to the World Series was because George, when he was suspended from baseball, Gene Michael restocked the farm system. So that was where they developed Derek Jeter. These are the guys that Jesse knows. Derek Jeter, Bernie Williams.
So this makes my point. If you're using this particular team with this particular owner, I think it makes my point. It took something catastrophic as the owner / GM to be suspended and could not control things for someone to come in to rebuild, who had a baseball mind, who was in touch of what was happening today with the players and the systems and the things that were working, for them to come in, restock the farm system, maybe not pay all these outrageous salaries, get that built back up, get a team who had chemistry, who played off one another, who things were evolving, to get that cohesiveness, and then you started seeing them winning again. So that kind of comes back to my point, is sometimes you got to take a step back. Now, whether that's voluntary or involuntary, sometimes that might be good.
But here's the thing, Jesse. That's not going to happen.
Nope.
There's not going to be a
Jerry's got more juice.
Jerry's got more juice than the NFL commissioner. Jerry has more juice than the NFL commissioner. So that ain't happening. So this is what it is. It is what it is. Let's take another break here as we're having some fun. Everson, I want you to decide a little debate that Jesse and I have been having here on Twitter. You're not used to it.
I did not know when, but I knew this was coming.
You're not getting away.
I can't wait.
You're not getting away. All right, we'll do this little debate here. We'll have Everson settle it for us after the break. Players Lounge brought to you by Hotels.com on DallasCowboys.com radio.
It's game day. You know what that means. First, kebab prep. Steak, pepper, onion, steak, pepper, onion. Next, a counterclockwise lap around the room. Now the lucky grease-stained jersey goes on. And lastly, the dance. You know the one. This is a game day ritual no matter where you are. Whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com and keep the tradition alive and well. Hotels.com, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Want to show your Texas and team pride too? You can. By purchasing your own Stetson, you can look just like how the flag guys do on field at every home game. Stetson hats, the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys, and your favorite football team.
Get yours today at shop.dallascowboys.com or at stetson.com.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way.
Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Hey there, Cowboys fans. With Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery, cleaning your clothes has never been more convenient. Simply sign up at your local store, set out your dirty clothes, and one of our Tide Cleaners professionals will come directly to your home for a totally contactless experience. Your clean garments will be returned promptly the next scheduled delivery day, so skip the errand and enjoy life, not laundry. Visit TideCleaners.com or your local store to sign up for Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery today.
Back to the Players Lounge.
craving AT&T Stadium's famous Cowboys cheesesteak, nachos, or Cowboys Rita? When you're watching the Cowboys at home, bring your favorite stadium fare to you. Just place your pickup order online. All right, place it online, and you can pick it up at AT&T Stadium every week this season. Check out the menu at attstadium.com/at-home. All right. Newy Scruggs here, longtime Cowboys reporter, joined by two former Dallas Cowboys, Everson Walls and Jesse Holley. Now, Everson, Jesse and I have had this debate going on here for a while about ribs. I do my
about
ribs
what?
on ribs. So I like to throw mine on my big green egg, and I like to smoke my ribs. Jesse, being the tri-state area guy, the northerner, likes to do his ribs in a crock pot.
That's typical of guys that can't go outside too much. It's always cold up there.
Exactly.
But Jesse lives here in Texas now. Jesse's been in Texas for a long time. You played
and
with Brady James.
And he was in North Carolina when he was at school. So, yeah,
yes,
that's another reason.
Right, you was in North Carolina. So you've been in two major barbecue spots. And like I said, you played with Brady James. And I'll tell you what, that brother can smoke, okay? Brady James can smoke some food. Oh, yes.
Did not know that.
You ever want to eat, call Brady, say, Brady, what are you making? Because Dog Team can throw it down. And I'm trying to get Jesse out these crock pot ribs. I'm trying to get Jesse on the grill.
So here's the thing. You got Newy and his Jerry Jones mindset, right? He's stuck in his ways. Newy is the Jerry Jones of barbecue. Certain things have to be done a certain way.
So he oversells.
Yeah, everything has to be done this way, and if it's not done this way, it's a no way. And my thing is that I make just as good, as tender, as fall off the bone, as juicy of a ribs in my 8-hour crock pot than he does smoking his ribs in his big green egg. And so I'm like, they can still they're both very good. I've had both. All right, I haven't made the one on the green egg, and partly because my background doesn't lend to being on a grill or a green egg or anything like that outside. We were oven, crock pot, indoor type of people growing up in the North. And then when I went to college, come on, at 20-something years old, well, nobody trying to barbecue nothing. I was chasing tail and then playing football and basketball. If I was trying to cook something, trust me, it wasn't a rib. It might have been a thigh. It might have been a thigh too, but it wasn't ribs in college. So even my time in North Carolina, I wasn't focused on learning how to get on a grill. But and I've noticed this when I've come to Texas. And in Texas, it's always, the guys are always saying, oh, you ain't never had ribs till you had my ribs. You ain't never had this until you had my this. And that is like a Texas culture thing. Everybody has to have the best of the best. And I'm just saying, I do a pretty damn good job with these ribs in the crock pot. And I'm willing to put my crock pot ribs up against Newy's green egg, big green egg ribs.
Green eggs and ham, huh?
Now the thing, Jesse, when you said, am I like Jerry? Yes. Make sure you also put in there Jerry Jones, Hall of Famer. So I got gold jacket with my ribs, and I got 3 Super Bowl trophies with it too. Okay. So when I come up in here, I'm coming up in here with credentials. Okay. Coming up in here having done some stuff. I ain't coming up here like Dan Snyder. Okay, with nothing. I'm coming up here like Jerry, loaded up. Okay. So just make sure we got that part of it right.
You gonna fly in with the helicopter, or you gonna the plane, or you gonna have the boat pull up to the harbor? How you coming in?
I'm gonna put it on the yacht. Okay, I'm gonna serve it on the yacht.
Okay.
Hey, I know brothers that have driven from Louisiana with the grill on wheels. Okay, so I'm talking big time stuff here. That's what I've been around. That's what I've grown up. When you talk about, I know, Newy, you said you're from Carolina, but then you also got some California in you with the USC background. And USC, really, California is just full of brothers from the South that was trying to get away. And they just ended up planting their flags there. So, you're really just a Southern dude your whole time being here. When I think about people cooking in a crock pot, I think about my wife. I'm sorry, Jesse.
Oh, my.
That's what I think about, man. That's the only person I know that puts ribs in a crock pot. That's just me. She's got other stuff to do. You know, she's a very energizing young lady. She puts that in the crock pot. She handles her business. She's a, millennial wife or whatever, millennial mother, whatever you want to call them, even though she's over 60 years old. So I have to disagree with you, brother.
But when I come and eat?
When I make ribs.
Do you come and eat? Do you come and whatever's in that crock pot, is it a satisfying meal that brings you to the table to eat?
You say satisfying. That is such a low bar. You understand? When I'm talking ribs, if I cook my ribs on the grill and she's in here on the crock pot with her apron on. By the way, do you wear a women's apron when you do the crock pot? I just want
to know. So you're going.
I'm just asking. She wears an apron. I don't know if you wear an apron. When you're in the kitchen, you gotta wear an apron. That's all I'm saying. So I'm always outside on the grill where the men are. Okay,
I got
and
you.
So I love fall off the bone ribs. But anybody knows a good rib, you want it to be attached to that bone just a little bit. And you can just bite that joke off. If it's falling off the bone, you're stuffing yourself. It's a little bit too messy. You want it to be firm. You want it to be seasoned just right. You want to have that little charcoal taste to it. You want to have that fire to it. Crock pot, come on, man. That's too.
I see the two.
That's too sanitized.
I see the two old guys and teamed up.
It's too sanitized, man. Crock pot. If you invite me over to your house and you got ribs, I'm gonna touch them first and see what it looks like. If I can tell crock pot from grill, and I'm telling you, I would not be there. I would if I sit down to crock pot ribs. I'm going somewhere else, man. I'm sorry.
And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make sure the doorknob don't hit you with a good Lord split you, and I'm gonna eat them myself.
Ooh,
I see you two guys teamed up on the.
No, man, you can't have crock pot ribs. Tell him, Newy, you can't have crock pot ribs, man.
Look,
you just can't. I don't care, even if it's snowing outside in Texas. You can go to Northern California, might be snowing. We're gonna still be on that grill, man, outside.
And then once they done, you put them on a tray. You put them in the oven or broil. That's how you get your.
See that's what you call counterfeit. That's what you call counterfeit.
Broil.
Counterfeit.
Did you say broil?
Yeah. See what I'm saying? He's putting it in the oven. That's what happens when you mess up on the grill.
No,
you put stuff in the oven later.
You give it that char, man. I'm telling you.
The grill gives it the char. That's all you need.
Ooh, Jesse.
Oh, God. Who am I talking to?
You New York.
Who am I talking to, man? I feel like I'm talking to my nephew or something, man. I don't know who I'm talking to, man.
Wee boy. Now, so my parents.
He just got me with that one. He said, put it in the oven. I don't know what just happened here. We just must have changed conversation. I don't know what just happened.
So my folks. My folks are from Birmingham, Alabama. So my dad always grilled. And then when he was stationed in the military, so we lived in North Carolina, we lived in Texas, and we lived in Georgia. So, I just been used to the grill. And then once I joined Omega Psi Phi, it became like a big thing too. It was like the frat got together. So, so you was around a bunch of guys, dog teams who were out here smoking these ribs. And so, yeah, Jesse, no, the crock pot was something that until you said it, I had never heard of it. I'd never heard of it. I was like, really? Crock pot ribs? I never heard of it like that, man. The only time I lived up north was in Cleveland, and I didn't even try and mess with nobody's barbecue in Cleveland. I'm gonna be out. So I didn't eat any barbecue in Cleveland. I didn't eat no Mexican food. I was like,
no, you don't want any barbecue from Cleveland. Hell no.
Right. You definitely don't want no barbecue from Cleveland.
Not from Ohio. Not even from the state of Ohio. Period. Yeah.
Right. So no Mexican food and no barbecue in Cleveland.
No Mexican food either.
Right.
They don't even
Everson,
have good tequila in Ohio. They don't even have good tequila.
I mean, it was. I stayed up in Cleveland for 2 winters, and when the Browns left, so did I. But I'm telling you, I lost weight.
Newy.
I lost weight.
Newy.
I lost weight living in Cleveland, man. All my favorites was gone,
I was the Bengals for 1 year. So.
Oh, you know how it is. We all feel each other's pain. I like that.
Now, Jesse, I will say this. I went to the Montgomery Inn in Cincinnati and had their ribs, and they've got an amazing barbecue sauce there that I absolutely used to go to Kroger and buy. It's called Montgomery Inn. Their barbecue sauce. So the next time, I'll tell you this. I'll give you this tip. Next time you do your crock-pot ribs, get you the Montgomery Inn barbecue sauce. You can get it from Kroger because it's out of Cincinnati, and it is dang good. It's so good, you will dip your French fries in this barbecue sauce. So there you go. It's a free tip for you right there.
Let me clarify something here. I don't even need barbecue sauce on my ribs. Okay, we don't even have barbecue sauce in the house. No, that's just how succulent my stuff is, man. You don't even.
Oh my God!
No,
See,
barbecue sauce. I would have to make my own sauce to find something worthy of my ribs. I have to make my own sauce.
All the men in Texas, everyone thinks they're the next best rib maker ever. Everyone thinks that here in Texas. Oh no, you ain't had ribs till you had my ribs. You ain't had my sauce till you ain't had sauce till you had sauce. I don't need no sauce. What you mean sauce? So these ribs are so. This is the culture of people who have planted their roots in Texas. And
I've never seen anybody line up a bunch of crock pots and see who had the best ribs. So come on, man.
You old school guys, man. You old school. Listen, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I'm just putting rims on it. That's all. I'm just putting rims on it. That's all I'm doing.
Oh man, I'm dying over here,
they're Jesse broiling ribs and putting them in
broiling ribs. That's something that I don't even know what he's talking about now. That's like foreign language to me. I don't even know what's up.
About 10 minutes, 10, 12 minutes. Put them in the broiler. Boom, they ready to go.
Just go buy some more charcoal, man. That's all you got to do. That's it,
I'm going to let you serve them crock pot. I'm going to let you make them crock pot ribs and serve them to Chris Bean. Chris Bean can be the taste tester.
Hey, they'll be ready by this time tomorrow.
And I'll get so much accomplished not having to stand outside that hot grill all day.
Oh, all right. That's our show for today. We're gonna end it with laughter. We'll end it on a high. Jesse, so fun for you to come on this show for the last 2 days.
Thank
Everson, same thing, man. You guys,
same here. Same here.
We always
time.
It was fun for us to have the kind of conversations that we always have with each other, and it was fun to bring it on air here at DallasCowboys.com.
Now, we might be fired on Monday because once Jerry Hero tells about how he can't run the team correctly, he might fire us all on Monday. So and this is the last time we see you. We appreciate you all for tuning in.
No. I separated myself
just in case.
It won't be the last.
The video record will show that was you two, not me. That was you two guys. That was you two. Okay, I separated myself from that.
What Chris want to say? Long. Chris wants to say something.
All day long.
He likes ratings. He does like ratings. He does.
For Chris Beam and everybody who worked on the podcast today, for Everson Walls and Jesse Holley, I'm Newy Scruggs. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!